Welcome back to another drawing tutorial with the Paintology app. And the Paintology app, as you can see, is on my home screen here. I'm going to click on that and it opens up to the home page. And you can see here it's got a few things. We're actually coming up with a new release of the app, but which will include some new additional features. But you should take the time to install this app, which is available for Android users only right now from the Paintology Google Play Store. So if you type in Paintology or Paintology app, you'll see this is the app that, as you can see clearly, this is already installed here. So you can see the screens here, everything. So you might think, oh, just another app, right? You'd be completely mistaken. It's not. It has an underlying philosophy to teach you drawing, irrespective of the art medium. You probably come across other digital apps which, when someone teaches you to get better, they just turn to tools. They may touch on fundamentals or art techniques very briefly, as just, an introduction rather than the real method of teaching art. And then, gloss over it very quickly and then jump to showing you the tools of the app. And that's where the actual mistake happens. And the mistake is long term. It may not be, there may be short term gratification, obviously. You can use the blending tools, layers tools, fill tools, color tools, create the eyeballs, do anime illustrations and all that. But you will get to a point where you confine your artwork to set of images or drawings that are not typical of traditional drawing or painting, and that's because you make heavy use of the tools in the first place. And you'll see more of that as I draw, and I'll show you art techniques. So Paintology essentially all about art techniques, art developing techniques that are universal across the art medium. So keep that in mind. Paintology is designed to improve your drawing strokes, understanding of tones and values, form, shape, and it does so with the advanced digital tools, digital technology that has been incorporated into the app, Paintology app. So don't come in looking for tools as a measure of the app's ability, just like you wouldn't necessarily go to a carpenter and say, I want to see your workshop and your tools to see if you can build this for me. You'd rather see the stuff he builds, isn't it? That's exactly the same line of thinking. So that's something I want to get out the way, which not many people know about that because they don't know any better. They're starting out beginning. They find out, oh, I couldn't do that with traditional when I was young, but I can do a lot more with digitals. Yeah, you can with tools, but you will ultimately forego your art techniques, which you need to develop as essential to creating art. So what I mean by this as well, again, I'm maybe ranting a little bit, but rambling. Let me show you what I mean by this. Let's go to Drive and let me show you. Take a look at these pictures, right? You can see, here's one, digital art. You would not for an instant think that was done on the Galaxy tablet using the Paintology app. I'm pretty certain of that. And then take another one. Have another. This was one of my first. I was very proud of that. 3-4 years ago, Marciello, you might have heard, who does it on his pencil with all these art tools and traditional, and I did it on the Galaxy tablet using Paintology. So you can see that video on the YouTube channel. Here's one of the famous painting, Mel Gibson, again done with. So the power of digital drawing lies in your ability to understand techniques. And this is exactly what I'm going to teach you here. So there's so many examples here. You'll find all of these in videos. You'll see time-lapse videos of all of these drawings, and you'll probably see many drawings on I have done to date over a period of 2.5 months on live streaming. And I've been starting off doing 2 drawings per day, and then now I'm doing separating one drawing and splitting it between the 2 channels, Paintology and Produce channel. So here I'm on the Produce channel, and the Paintology channel is the other channel that also supports drawing of techniques using Paintology. So let me show you a few resources to get going. Let me show you. Okay, here, when you go to paintology.com, this is a bookmark. You should definitely bookmark this page. This is providing you're interested in learning art techniques and you want to improve your drawing skills. So by the way, this is all provided free of charge. You'll note that many artists will, ask you to pay online to get on their courses, but right now I'm doing this just to show you this, open people's eyes on the possibilities of digital drawing. And I'm going to typically do one drawing per, a completed drawing. So, for the time being, it's free. So take full advantage of it and learn as much as you can. That's the whole idea. So click on daily step-by-step video tutorials. And you'll see, come to this page. And this is where the live stream data is. You can see here, 2nd of November, starts 9 GMT. And the reference image this is the drawing we're gonna do. And I'm doing the similar drawing to one I did yesterday here. You can see this is the drawing I did yesterday on the phone. And it was quite lovely. I really enjoyed this drawing. And I'm going to probably use the same techniques as I did, block coloring and all the details of it. So you'll learn that very fast. It was done within that time period. In fact, it was done in record time. We finished a lot earlier than we normally do. So it's all about technique. Just keep in mind that I'm not teaching you the same thing. I'm learning all the time. Honestly, I tell you, in the 2.5 months I've been doing this almost practically on a daily basis, except maybe one time during the week or two that I take a day off, But it's been consistent, and I have actually learned a great deal. This is what I'd say to you as a beginner. If you want to learn, you want to get better, you need to keep your mind open. And if you're a beginner, take all that baggage you bring to learn off, completely remove it, because that baggage is hearsay by all the other beginners who go rambling on, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread, this is the best thing since tea was invented, all that. They're just beginners. Unless you look at a proficient artist who probably doesn't have the time for you anyway to show you, unless you pay him, they're basically just going to talk in bits and pieces, and it doesn't, and it rouses you, but then you find that it's not to your liking, or you go up the wrong path, essentially. So if you want to learn from the best, and I'm not saying I'm the best, but at least I'm well ahead of many other people when it comes to drawing, if you have to just look at my drawings. And by the way I draw, you may think it takes a long time, which some mistakenly think that. One of the one of the standard comments is this doesn't have many tools. Okay, that indicates that they are essentially tool driven, and then they end up saying, although I've seen some very good drawings, it must have taken a long time. Again, based on immature judgment without even attempting to understand what the app is trying to do. So we're going to make a few changes for you to understand, but since you're online, I can say these things and you can clearly understand the nature of Paintology. So did I download this image? Let me see if I have downloaded it. Yes, I did download it. So you should be able to draw along with me. So this is the, can you see second produce Paintology? You see? These are the stream second, and you can see all the completed drawings I've done. Yeah, this is late Matthew Perry. Yeah, all these drawings. Tulips done on the phone. So essentially done on the Samsung Note 10, which I'm showing you. And I have an earpiece connected to my phone, and I'm speaking through the earpiece. And then I have this right here now holding it. I'm sat down comfortably and holding this near to my chest, belly, and I'm using a stylus, but you can use a finger as well. Any phone, Android phone, will be perfectly work fine. So that's all it is. So, ooh, this is a nice drawing that I did a while ago, line drawing. It's very nice. Oh yeah, this is the Paintology. What is this? Oh, these are all the drawings I've done. You can see all the drawings. This is a drawing of that tiger. So that's a nice way to show you. The zebra, do you see that? I'll show you this zebra that I did on the phone. That had to be done in record time, really fast, because I need to finish it within 2 hours. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back. I think you've seen enough. The other thing I want to show you is the Quora platform, paintology.quora.com. Please do visit that page. It's got, I usually write down everything that I do on this, on that day, or if it's anything new. So please do go ahead and check that out and follow. I would really appreciate it if you follow. Give me all the support I need. Everything's free right now. Google Classroom is something else you want to also join. So let's go back to Paintology and click on Draw. And you can do this for any image, this block coloring, okay? So I got this image loaded, as you can see here. And you should be able to do this in any type of image. Open it in the trace mode, and you can you don't even have to buy paint by numbers. You can use this block coloring on any drawings, and this block coloring method is a great way to get you to understand tones and improve your drawing strokes, drawing muscles, everything that's necessary to make good drawings. So what do we have here? So yesterday's drawing was so good, and the way I did it, the approach was so good, and it allowed me to finish well ahead of time. I'm going to do a similar thing, but then again, be open to learning something each time. Remember, I've learned a lot, and you might think this is like second nature to me, right? But that's only because I'm learning and applying, learning and applying, learning. I don't really care what others say. Others may say something different, but they are behind me in terms of how I draw on the digital, because I'm very fortunate that I have the app that I build as well as applying the art technique. So you can't get better than that. Most of the drawing apps are designed by people who probably cannot draw, and just applying the drawing instruments that they get borrowed from other tools. That's it. They think that by pushing more and more tools in their way, that should be sufficient to cater to their interest, and they do, because they become tool dependent. That's the word, tool dependent. And I use one brush to make a complete drawing. So what am I going to do? Am I going to use a different brush? I'm going to try and stick to the charcoal I did. Maybe perhaps I can get something out of it. And then I think I'm going to, okay, so I selected the charcoal brush. I'm going to select a lot of big brush size. So block coloring is simply setting a brush size and then using obviously a brush. I don't move from this brush to anywhere else. I'm going to create all this using the same brush and I'll show you how it's done. So you can see here I'm going to select the color picker, and what happens, it picks the color tones of the reference image, and think of this half is owned by the reference image and this half is owned by your drawing canvas. So nothing on the drawing canvas yet, which is what we want to do. And this is the traced image. So traced image is a very powerful reference image that allows you to, especially in portraits, keeps the portrait distortion less, allows you to continuously improve and understand how you look at tones on the face. And it has a method that you'll find, which I use the grayscale mode, which simply turns the image into a grayscale, which is a very powerful way of understanding tones. So there's a lot of things that go on inside it, and it is not the same route as all the other digital apps, which are full of tools and designed to keep you happy that way until, with all your doodling and textures and hundreds of brushes and all that. This is pure art techniques which are not shown. I don't think there is any other digital app out there that teaches you art techniques. So this is what I'm doing. I've got a 30% brush size and I'm just simply selecting the colors. Right there I'm doing. Consider. Right, so as soon as pick the color picker and my finger lands, it assumes that color, okay? That's all it is. So this is think of it like paint by numbers, but it's on paint by numbers on steroids, yeah? Okay, look at all these blue tones I've captured. You may think the sky is just simply blue, but look at all those blue tones. There are hundreds of tones. And then with the beauty of digital is that you don't have to mix colors with the traditional. It's way powerful, more powerful than traditional in my opinion. But you may like traditional, and I'm a very good traditional artist. I've got all my artwork hanging on people's walls. Well, when I say I'm a very good traditional, it's the reason why I've managed to transfer these skills to digital and therefore draw like the way I show you. Okay, there. Look at this wonderful blue colors. Okay, and then you may think this is white, but in reality it's not white. So I'm going to pick these colors and then pick these colors as well of the cloud. Yeah, where the cloud is, and I'm not too bothered about the detail. I can fix that later. So now the same thing with this gray. Can you see how that formed so quickly? Right. Pick a brush size that you think you're comfortable with. I may just reduce it since the sky was very broad. I'm going to reduce it to 22%. Okay, look what I have. I got 75%, 75%. Don't worry about density hardness, I'll explain that. as you go. It's hard. Your best bet is to learn from practice. You know, this is the only method where techniques are shown through practice. You probably heard of many artists go on about tones and values, but honestly, they can't really put it into practice like here. And I'm going to show you as you go carry on and learn. I started off, I believe I started with 100% of the density and hardness setting in the yesterday's drawing, but I thought I'd do something different. Always mix it up. Artists always mixes it up. That's why they can't really explain. They can't go back in time and sit with you and explain their method unless they're really so kind-hearted to sit with you, you know, and spend an hour teaching you what they went through, right? That's why this is where you have an opportunity to learn, like while I'm showing it, no charge to you at whatsoever. You can even take this learning thing to your art teacher and show them, and they will say, yep. First of all, don't show them this because they might have an adverse feeling with digital. You know, this thing is that, oh, I'd like to feel the paint and pencil. I've seen a few art advocates who say they like to feel the oil paint. You know, they like to feel what they're putting down. And honestly, they've never drawn in their lives. You know, I've done both. You name any medium, I've done it. So I can speak with a lot of experience and confidence. But they go on about they like to feel the paint. In fact, a lot of the people who claim to be art are actually primitive in their understanding of digital. I mean, they go on about, oh, the computer does all the work and all that nonsense, you know. This may be a bit too big for the mountain I'm doing, but that's all right. I don't care. Some of you might be smart enough to know that I'm actually following a very similar pattern of painting and drawing to how traditional artists paint or draw, right? They first lay down the colors, right? And I'm using the color picker, so I don't have to mix the colors. That's the great beauty, why my drawing appears so lifelike in a way, yeah? Let's see what we've got. This is all we've got so far. Yeah, with the charcoal. But for some reason, my daughter doesn't like charcoal. I don't know why. She likes chalk, the brush. I don't know what it is that she likes about that. Because she likes going over it again and again. On the chalk allows her to do the strokes, and I prefer to do short, simple, quick strokes. So that's all I'm doing. I'm getting the tones. And so when I land, I'm getting the tones here. So as soon as I pick the color picker, I'm picking the tones, all right? That's all I'm doing, getting the right colors. You may have seen some of the realistic acrylic painters. I was watching one yesterday. I don't know what his name is, Duchenne or something, and he does exactly this. He just plays down the colors, and then continues to build on it, and then adds the details at the end. This is very much similar to the technique that I use here. Color picker. Look at these wonderful rocks here. Don't go too far out because you want to get the capture the tones in that region. Okay. Let's see. So we haven't got much here. Let's move you up here. So let's take that down. Rule of thumb is always take it down by approximate half when you get to the details. So there. This is really traditional artists should not make the premature judgment that digital drawing requires tools. Have you seen me use any technical mastery of tools? Oh, there's nothing technical about what I'm doing. I'm just drawing. So there are sadly a lot of people who claim that some of them even go as far to say that digital art has no soul. Don't know what that means. I'm still drawing and they're not. Still my artwork. It's got no soul. Perhaps they think all the tools are taking away the soul. It's so funny. What do they expect? Carpenter to use his hand as a hammer, use his saw as a hammer, saw to use his hand as a saw. Perhaps that's their thinking. But you'd be surprised, there are people like that. I actually found a curator, apparently from San Francisco, art curator, can you believe it? And she's repelled by digital art, I don't know why. And then I showed her my artwork and then she deleted it or something like that. Weird. It's supposed to be an art curator. You're supposed to assess every art piece on a genuine basis. Anyway, you're going to get people who don't know what they're talking about. And that's the sad thing, right? Is that they claim to know what they're talking about because people are genuinely looking for important pieces of information regarding their drawing. But don't look at people who talk a lot. Don't gravitate to them who talk a lot. Gravitate to the people who've done a lot. Rather than talk a lot, but they've done a lot. Like myself, for example. I've demonstrated 100 times what can be done with digital. See there? See what I've done here? Just taken the... So one thing I haven't done is this black area here. So you can cross that out. Look at all these colors we picked. So when you want to get to that edge, just press the cross marker and to get rid of that dialogue, and then you can continue working underneath. Okay, not a big deal. So this is like first pass, and we got the reference image, and we got this. If I'm doing freehand, obviously I would not have this reference image, and I've done many to show that I'm perfectly capable of doing nice freehand drawings, But this is to show you guys the to teach you how to get better in understanding the tones that are right going on, okay? Let's see where we are on this. We got a good one, isn't it? So I'm going to carry on. We're doing really well for time. So what can we do? Let's have a good look at this image. This is where you have to understand there's a method and reason for doing something. And you probably know that there is a method and reason for why I'm doing this. And if you've seen many YouTubers who are using traditional, this is exactly how they go about starting off the drawing. And they're nowhere to finishing, but they will eventually get there, okay? So what do we have here? Well, we've got this. Now I'm going to show you how to get this lovely, luscious sky, right? I should have perhaps used a different tone, but it doesn't matter. Now let me show you how to get to that luscious sky. But before we do that, you can see between these leaves, there's a blue color. So I'm going to make sure that, you know, that these areas are blue, okay? That's all I'm doing. So this tree is jetting out, you know, from, okay, that's all I'm doing. All right, the same blue, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be an exact blue. So this is a good opportunity let's first define the mountain range here. Can you see that mountain range? That will be, this will be our point where we have to end the sky. Okay, so we're gonna first do the sky. So the whole idea of doing the sky is making it nice and uniform and the beautiful cloudy. So how are we gonna do that? This is where our density settings, these tools alone off the brush, comes into action, okay? And let's experiment a little bit. We've got 10%, let's take it up a notch, 18%. And let's take this down and this down in unison, 45% approximately, okay? And then let's pick this color and then let's do a mixing of colors here. Notice how it's sort of doing some kind of a blending. Notice, see how it's blending? Yeah, it's beginning to look like a proper sky rather than a jagged sky, isn't it? Right there, can you see it? Nice. And then let's pick this color and blend it so it doesn't look like it's a jagged. And we may take it down so we know the, then let's pick a bit of a color, and I think I'm going to take it down a bit more. This is where you experiment. Believe me, you need to experiment to see what these settings are. They're not there for any particular reason. They are there to provide you with control over the tone. Okay, I'm going to get to the point, the tone. Okay, so I'm simply trying to smooth this out with that. Look at that there, until I get a lovely sky. I can carry on doing this because I've got plenty of time here. Still got like 15 minutes or so. Look how I'm saturated. You know, this was jagged, and now it's becoming like a blue sky that we're all familiar with, right? There, look at that. Pick that color, the light color in the horizon, and it gets darker, so we can do the same thing, right? See that? That's not bad, is it? And then we can add this color here, and then get the colors. Just keep working at it. Keep working at it. It's a lot better than before, isn't it? Don't you think? A lot better than before. Just blended that beautifully. I've got 19%. I've got a big brush size. Just do that, okay? So that's how we've done the sky. Look at that. It's looking good, isn't it? It's got maybe a haze of clouds there if you want to. If you don't want to add those clouds, just go over it again. Those little haze. If you want to spread it out, just do it. If you want to uniform it, if you want to provide some uniformity, oops, I did that. That's because of the Note 10 features, you know. It just keeps, look how it's gone. And then pick these light tones. And then you can pick this tone. And then pick this tone. You see how that changed? I'm going to show you. See this between these two layers? Well, I'm going to pick the color picker of this darker blue tone and watch where it is. See that? It's somewhere there on the thing. And then I'm going to pick this color tone and see where that is. It's gone there. So let's pick something somewhere in the middle. And somehow blend this in so it's not possible for people to see you using a different color tone. I think we've done a pretty good job. Now let's look at this lovely clouds, right? So we've got a very big brush. So we're going to stick to the clouds are fluffy, so it's like requires less opacity, okay? So less density. So let's go to 18% approximately. I'm sort of using my own judgment and then pick these colors and so I'm just spreading them out. I'm picking the colors and just spreading them out. Look at that, it's already coming out like a cloud, isn't it? We don't want a flying saucer, do we? Right, let's see if we're going to do it. There at the bottom, it's more saturated, it's more dense. It looks like a flying saucer, doesn't it? So we'll probably turn to a smaller brush, but let's try and get the clouds out there. It's quite a large brush for these smaller, so we're going to take it down, and we've still got 27%, okay? Let's get the illusion of clouds, right? So that's all we're doing. And then we can move and then here you can see, look at that, they're so tiny. So we'll do the same thing. Take it really small and bring it up a little bit, okay? And see if that helps to define this tiny clouds. That's quite small actually. See that? See what I mean by that? Gives the illusion of clouds. It's a low-hanging cloud. So that there. Just play with it. giving the illusion of cloud. Those look like cloud sources, isn't it? That's all we're doing. You can do a lot better than this. Remember, I'm going over this really quickly, and so that looks like a cloud that's hanging above, and that's looking really well. Now, what we can do is I can improve on this even more, as I can always come back to it. Now we can go to this black area and take it up to 78 or 70 because it's quite dense, isn't it? And then leave it at 40, and then right, let's pick the colors that we have. Let's pick the colors we want, and then just look at it very carefully and make sure it's not too dense. Then take it down. If it's too harsh, meaning the contrast is so harsh, you'll get an understanding of it as you draw it. And take that up. And then I got the black, and then you can see it in that this is gonna, and I'm completely on my drawing area. So I've got this. So I've got the ability to go over it a few times to make it dark, so not to give the illusion of one color ink drawing, right? So it's like a pencil, remember? Yeah. So I'm going to do that. So I'm trying something different to show you. Maybe that's the stem, so we need to put a little bit more thought into that. Get the blue here, why not? And pick that color that we had before. Right there. So that looks good, right? So we can reduce it even more in size and pick some of these little edges that gives it more volume and shape. Okay. Right, gives it real reality. Because we know that there is. Let's see. I'm just use these trees as a just simply as a right there. Can you see it? Yes, it's created a almost like a tree-like structure, isn't it? So now let's turn to this mountain here, right? So I was going to zoom right into that mountain, and perhaps I should, but perhaps not. So I got this 60% and then a 4%. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go over it again in more detail. Remember, we used a broad brush. So now I'm going to pick out these lovely white tones that could be snow caps. I don't know. Right there. And just picking these color tones. So it's like getting paintbrush on my, and then putting them down here, just like they do in traditional. So that there. And then we can see if it looks good. If it does. See these tones is smaller brush, so you need to be aware of it. And let's see what comes out of it, okay? That's already creating a shape, isn't it? Somewhat creating that shape, although I'm not seeing, I may need a little bit more density. Can you see it? So it's almost saying you need a little bit more density. So let's knock it up to 75. Increase it just a tad more. And then let's try it again. This is on a phone, so you really have to have good eyes, I think, to make it. And you can use your tablet if you feel comfortable. You know, tablet's got a bigger screen, yeah. It'll work perfectly fine. I've got a Samsung S6 tablet, which I haven't made use of it quite a long time now. Let's see what this comes out as. Right? If this comes out like we want, then we'll stick to it, right? That's the way that traditional artists really understand. They're not a slave to the tools, they're master of the tools. See then how that's come up, yeah? Sort of coming out. I can see that a little bit more thought needs here. Right, and here. And then we got the mountain side here. Perfect, isn't it? And now what we can do is increase that to 9.5 to get these colors. Right. And then you can see the tones are happening there. That really does improve your skills, believe me, in your freehand skills. Look at that there. It's a bigger brush, so I can do larger patches. It's all about being control of your tools. Very similar to what I was doing yesterday. Let's see. Look at that. It's coming out really nicely, I believe. And we can go over it again and add more details. But I want to finish this mountain and then I'm going to have to end it there. And this mountain range. And then we'll hop on to the next channel. Give you a quick break. So think of the color picker as picking the paint from your canvas. That's all it is. You can see that the sky and everything is coming a little bit more alive, and we can continue to do this on part 2. So please do subscribe to this channel and give me all the support you can, because you know this is for free and no charge, and I hope my aim is for you to get better in drawing and for you to become good artists that you've always wanted to be, but you've never had the opportunity until now, or been able to sit down and go through training classes. This is a perfect way to rapidly build up your skills. So I hope you enjoyed this part 1, and we'll see you in part 2. The link is in the description, or you'll find it in the paintology.com page that I showed you, where you can go straight to the part 2 stream, yeah? And I'll join you in about 10 minutes from now. Thank you. See you there.